Hi folks, Nick here. I wanted to do a progress report or report card. I'm dedicating myself to doing one a week at least to see how we did last week with predicting the ranges and trading around them. All right, let's start with the SPX. Last week I still said we set around 2100 and we kind of did. This is a 2100. We had it much below or above. Magnets, and I also said there were a couple of magnets at 75 and 50 as far as 2075. We whooshed down to 2073 and then bounced right off of it. And then also there was something around the 2000. We never went there, so let's not look at that. It will have a negative effect on markets, especially if the weakness continues for more days. All these drags, the magnets, right? And but we're in headline trade, so we expected whooshes up or down. Depends on the headlines. We had some resistance at 2125, other than the magnet at 2100, and the high of the week was somewhere on 2122, 3, 1, whatever it was, that line right there. So 2125 also performed well as far as resistance. So for that, I said we would have to do Iron Condor's Nordic Profit Best, and had we done that, and we did, we had a few suggestion videos, and those worked out perfectly. Similarly in the SPY, we had a 210 magnet, but it was more supportive, so I wasn't too worried about credit put spreads going long via those. Small support at 207, other than that, and indeed the 207 area. It's never a hard line in a sense, more of a rubber band, so it pushes through it a little bit if we needed to. Just like here, you know, I said 2075 went to 2070 or 72, it doesn't really matter. I don't play it that tightly anyway. So small support at 207. We had more support lower had we needed it. And also resistance at 213, more at higher. So 213.34, boom, pushed down on it, and closed right there in the middle, close to the magnet. So we have a good job here, a good job there. Had we done credit put spreads and credit calls for Iron Condors, they would have both worked out perfectly well, I should say. Okay, the RUT, which are small caps, both of these are S&P. We had a big neutral zone, kind of wide, 1220 to 70, so like basically between, you know, down here and here. But we did have clear resistance areas. This is a typo, 1280 obviously, not 1180. 1280 to 1290 we had resistance, and 1300 and above was higher. So start of resistance worked, pushed down and stopped it from running up. We did have some support, but we didn't really need to address it because it was way much lower than that. The IWM showed a lot of exuberance, again, a lot of potential for all-time highs, and indeed it worked out this week. In hindsight, we know that they did bust out to new all-time highs, but this is for last week, mind you, week ending 6/19. 121.5 or lower was pure support, so credit put spread will work. And indeed, we didn't even come close to it. 123 to 125.5 was kind of a neutral zone, you know, 1.5. It's not that wide. So indeed, it did hold up. We didn't need to use more than that as far as neutral zone is concerned. And then 126.5 to 29 was a band of resistance. There was no one strong line. So it hesitated at 126.5 and then boom, busted up to 128 area and stopped. So the resistance band worked. There's an outside chance of run up to 130, which was happening right now, at least as of yesterday. We were like 129 and change the week past. So we did hold up. So I give myself a nice one here and a nice one there. How about the Qs, the NASDAQ? We had a 110, still of importance. 110 or higher was strong resistance, 180 or lower decent support, which gives us a nice Iron Condor opportunity again, and indeed it held up. 107.31 was the low, and then 109 was kind of a magnet, and if you see that, we had just as much action below it or above it. And Apple again was my focus with regards to that index especially. It's pretty heavy in it. And as far as resistance, it did hold up pretty well. This is 110.80, so it did bust through the resistance, but again, it's a rubber band, not a hard wall. So nice one here. As far as Apple's concerned, we had a kind of a strange setup, multiple centers of attention. The 125 was the first one that came to mind, and this was it right here somewhere. That held up okay, and there was more interest around 130, so they wanted to run it to 130. They tried, they went up to here. They fell a little short, and then there were really hopeful people for higher than that, 135, even 140, and there were some much lower pessimistic people. Both cases were a little ridiculous for just 1 week, so we played it well here. What about what else do I have? Oh, Google. The Goog-L. This is, I do look at the Goog as well, but let's just look at one of them, the Goog-L. Google has been range-bound for a while, and it's been a decent trade so far as predictability for us. The action centered around 550, kind of like a magnetic thing. And if I draw the line where I said, and this, by the way, all of this was done by Friday evening before the week started and then reconfirmed again on Monday before they open. So it's not like in hindsight I'm setting these sub. Okay, so just as much action above or below, so the 550 indeed was a pivot. And resistance was 560. Here's, I'm going to say this is 560. So that worked well. We had some support at 535 through 515. This is 539, and that was the low of the week. So perfect on Google. So again, here I give myself an A+. And luckily, it's not an ego thing. It's just to set up the trades for us for the week. So the predictability of the price range, even with headlines, which is hard to do, has worked out pretty well. I don't trade unless I can see these ranges. In other words, had I not seen a level where I can say, okay, there is a lid on at 129 or 130, or if I didn't see resistance in Google, I would not do a credit call spread. If I didn't see support, I would not do a credit put spread. So this is just for us to stay on track and stay doing exactly the right thing, and then going back and see how well we did so we can continue doing it. All right, Nick signing out. If you have any questions, send me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.